want to talk, we can just talk like normal people. I don't really.
Okay, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading, and it's May 2nd, 2025, and I'm on the phone with Regulus, who is, I believe, a targeted person who wants to talk about how to protect ourselves, our technology, our phones, our laptops, our technology devices from these criminals. So, why don't you
Yeah.
introduce yourself and
Well, I go by Regulus online, and I've been target individual my whole life. From MK Ultra, I've been through that program, and my family's a bunch of satanic Freemason pieces of crap, and I recently figured out how they were going a lot of the targeting is through data collection through the cell phones and your computers, and I figured out how to get out of that system, and once I got out, like 90% of the targeting stopped, the street leaders stopped, the planes falling on me stopped, and the online harassment, like 100% stopped.
really?
So I just, yeah.
Well, that's
So I
that's
just wanted to,
amazing.
there.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
you want to share your research and what you've learned on how to protect yourself through this technology and having grown up in a satanic MK Ultra home. That's horrible. I mean, I didn't, but I'm experiencing it now, so I feel for you. But thank you so much for taking the time to figure this out and wanting to share it with everybody.
Yeah, it took me a long time. I mean, I've been, when I was a kid, they had cameras in my TV. We had landlines back then. They had the landline tap. And so I've been through this forever. And I knew, like, when I was out on my own, I knew my computer was hacked. But, like, I didn't really care because, like, all I did was watch YouTube videos and play video games and stuff like that, research stuff. So I was like, I thought it was just some, like, kids I was playing video games with or some disgruntled ex-girlfriend or something. I didn't realize what I was all involved with, and that I was under, like, complete surveillance. And
Do you,
wasn't until probably like 5 years ago I started getting openly targeted and gang stalked, people call it, and all that by these people. So I really started, like, trying to get these computers secure.
how old are you?
42.
Okay. It's a
Yeah, so there's been a lot of trial and error. I've had to reset my computers literally at least probably 1,000 times. I've hired 2 digital forensics experts to help me out. And really how I ended up beating it was just trial and error and discernment. And they gave me, I got some tips from these people along the way. I actually have a video on my YouTube channel that goes over this and explains how to do it.
What is your YouTube channel?
It's like, I think it should just be Regulus or Regulus Starseed.
Regulus Starseed. Okay.
Yeah, if you type in Regulus, how to secure a phone, it should pop up.
Okay, terrific.
And so yeah, the main things, and I want to say this too, like before I get into it, like yeah, the targeting was going on before the computers and the cell phones became big, but they rely on this stuff so heavily now that if you can get out of it, you're gonna be better off than people were back in the day because the logistics are different.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
They intercept
and
my keyboard. They intercept my phone keyboard, preventing me from uploading videos.
oh yeah, I mean I've had them intercept my phone calls. I've had them intercept my phone calls, pretend to be like someone from the bank or something. I've had them remotely turn on my computer search results, and I type in certain keywords, and that would get me search results that they wanted me to see and things like that. They would cook my traffic to do what they wanted to do. I remember like one time I got on YouTube, and now there's like a bunch of thumbnails, and you scroll through, and every single thumbnail was like this old woman with a knife, like she was stabbing me.
Wow.
And they would do it. It's pretty impressive what they can do. And yeah, if I sat and thought about it, I could probably come up with a bunch of crazy stories about this internet hacking. But yeah, the main things that they do to get your data, they want your data, all of it, whatever they can get, you know. And that's, you know, and one more thing I want to say is, after getting out, and then so the past couple months I've gotten out like maybe a month at a time, and then to get back in for a couple weeks, and I get back out for a couple weeks. And I kind of been playing this cat and mouse game, right? And right now, like my computers all work, but they have my SIM card, so some of my SIM card traffic they're in control of. And so that's the main thing they're going to target is your SIM card, and if you're in a home, they're going to target your modem, because that's where all the traffic's going through, and that's, you know, they want to control your traffic mainly, but they'll hack whatever they can. And if they can't get in your modem, like if your modem has a good password and all that stuff, and they don't know it yet, so they're not going to be able to get into it. And so they'll try to hack your computer through like emails, or, you know, if you've been under surveillance for a while, they will try to trick you into clicking a link somehow. And that could be, it's called social engineering if you want to look it up. And that could be like so many different ways. It could be of somebody that befriended you in the past that you think you don't know that they're in this, and they say, hey, go check this out. And you click the link, and it might look like a legit site, but it's really got malicious program in the background that you're going to download. Then they can like get into your computer, start seeing more of your information, or get into your phone, start seeing your information, and just keep on launching more attacks.
Interesting.
So the biggest things I would be aware of, like, I don't use email. I do, like, I have an email, like my banking stuff's connected to it, but like, I never open emails. Like, even when I was talking to you, like, I got a $20 Walmart phone that if I have to open an email, I go and open that, turn that thing on, and do my email that way. If that gets hacked, it's usually got a dead battery, so I ain't worried about it.
Right.
So like, I never open emails. I just check. If I get a message from like the bank, I just read the headline on the email, say like bank statement. Then I'll go log into the bank website. Like, I want to open it, because they like, I talked earlier about how tricky they can be with cooking your traffic and reprogramming your phone.
Yes. How do you think they do that?
All right. So what I figured out is, after getting out, after I got out at first, like, it gave me a bird's eye view on how a lot of this works, and it didn't work like I thought it did. And then when I could see them trying to get back in after I got out, it really taught me a lot about like their tactics. So one of the things that they're doing is, when they get a hold of your modem, when they get control of your modem or your SIM card, they're rerouting your traffic through their network. And then they can, like I said earlier, cook your traffic, intercept your phone calls, things like that. And so like the free Freemasons. I know the Freemasons. They get cell phones when they become Freemasons, and what I'm imagining here is that we're all getting hooked up through their network. We just got a bad program running on ours, and that's how. Also, I want to say that it's not entirely human. It's computer bots. It is AI. It's some kind of computer program that they're running on us, and it goes for a lot of things like the online stalkers.
Yes.
They're not all human.
No.
I believe a lot of them are, bots, AI programs. And I want to say this was a real interesting thing is that a lot of the energy weapon stuff stopped too once I got out. For me, I mean, they have been they attack me a lot when I'm in my sleep. They give me seizures in my sleep. They give me they made me stop breathing in my sleep.
They did that to my mother. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's been more energy weapon stuff that I've had to deal with. But when I noticed when I got out, that stuff, it didn't disappear completely, but it almost did. So I'm like, I don't think their computer can find me right now. That's the conclusion I came to.
That's probably right, because if they have no access to emails, your SIM card, your modem, how are they, unless you're implanted, how are they going to be able to track you? Unless there's a GPS on your vehicle, if you have a vehicle.
Right. And that's the thing, too. That's why I said, like, when you get out of the computer system, like 90% of it's going to stop. It does stop completely because they got to go and look for you now. That's a little bit harder.
So it's harder, yes.
Some guy on his computer,
do you have any recommendations for people that have, they must use their email, they must use their phone, whether it's because of a business or a YouTube channel or family? I mean, is there something else that we can do?
Yeah, I'm giving you a background here. There's more than one attack that they do, and I'm trying to paint a picture for people, but I'll get into how to exactly do that. But like I said, with the email, if I use Telegram to talk now.
Okay.
Online, like, I would recommend you do that. Like, I've seen your site, and you got your email everywhere. I think it's a real bad idea.
Okay.
I would, but if you're gonna talk to somebody like me, I would use like a Telegram. And like I said, I got that old Walmart phone that if I absolutely have to open an email, I go plug that in and check my emails or respond to something, and then usually like say, hey, it's better if you just contact me on Telegram if I can do that. If it's a professional thing, then I just deal with it, and I know it's contained into that $20 Walmart phone that is probably going to have a dead battery as soon as I get done doing my emails,
Okay, so that's good advice. I actually have Telegram.
Yeah. And then again, just beware, especially since you, like someone like you that's got it all over the internet, just be aware of people contacting you and trying to get you to click links. That's going to be that's one of the ways they're going to try and get you.
Right. You know what? I've noticed that. And I won't click on their links. I'll even respond to the individual and say that I won't click on the link. Like, it depends on what the heading is or the title. I don't want to be sent all over the place anyway, and in viewing things that I have no interest in wasting my time. So I'm just not going to do it.
But you gotta be careful too, because, and I'm gonna cover this soon, but when they send you these links, they look very legit. They're very good at what they do. Like, so, and I've even clicked things in the past where and restore pinball machines and things.
Cool.
So like, I've had them send me links to pinball machine site, and it looks like the pinball machine site, but me clicking that link hacked me.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, and that's why I have it actually blocked on YouTube. There's an option to block in the comments section other people posting links, and I have that blocked. It has to come to me for review, and most of the times I'll look at it, but I won't post it or just delete it. I don't want people posting links on my channel. So
they're dangerous, and it's the same thing with the emails too. Like, they will send you very, very legit looking emails from like maybe your bank. It looks like it comes from your bank. It looks like it comes from somebody you know. And I know a lot. I don't know everything. I'm hoping that when I put this out there, maybe somebody who's a better expert than me in computers can fill in the blanks and make it easier to secure people's phones, because it's kind of a pain in the ass the way I'm going to tell you guys to do it, but it works. And so sending like really legit looking emails is another thing to be careful for. What they were doing was, I believe what they were doing was putting an image in the email, and then even if I just open the email, then that image would have a little payload in it, and then it would download in the background, and then as my computer would be hooked up to the internet, it would be communicating back to them, downloading more and more, and then it just got worse from there.
I wonder if that's what's happened to my laptop, because it's been extremely slow, and there are a couple of people that have been sending me links to all kinds of articles and stuff, and I'm gonna stop it. It's very time consuming also, and I don't know if they're infected on their end, if they're a targeted person. So I also think that's why my house is not. I'm not receiving phone calls on the sale of my house. They're being intercepted.
Yeah, it can get pretty complicated and intricate. I mean that, and so just to make it easy, I would say don't open emails. Do not click links anymore. That's just what you got to do. It's a pain. It can be a hassle, but if you want that or you want to get targeted.
That's good point. Good point.
Yeah, so those are two. That's the easy part. Not clicking links, not opening emails. That's the easy part. The hard part is like the links in the emails. They're gonna target your device, and then from there they're gonna start gaining data, and then they're gonna use that data to send more attacks and take over your device more and more until eventually it's like completely taken over, and it's crazy town. So not clicking links, not opening emails, that's easy. Anybody can do that. Just don't do it anymore. Don't take the risk, because at one time you take the risk, you're going to get back in. So within your devices, what you got to do is you're going to have to hard reset them. You're going to have to wipe everything out and start over.
Yeah.
But you got, especially, you got to think, like, so, like, let's say they have your modem hacked. So you're going to have to change your password on that modem so that they ain't going to know what it is.
Do you know what the problem is with my modem? With this, and I've never heard this before. In this county, my modem is connected to the local internet company. The only way you can have your account set up through them is they hold your password. And meanwhile, I'm in a small rural town, and the local criminals work for them. Besides the fact that
it works, I know.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And if you go and try and change it, that guy at the office is going to snitch on you and give him your password.
Exactly.
That's how it works. So
Exactly.
I don't see. I'm on the road. I live in an RV. I
Okay.
travel for work, so I'm mobile. I use I have a cell phone, and I tether my cell phone to my laptop, and I'm good. And I'm gonna explain how that works. But with the modem thing, I know they're not on that situation. I've worked on people's modems where I've got, you just log into like an IP address and it takes you to the modem, and you can change like the account password and the username and all that stuff. And if you can do that with your modem to where they can't see it, because remember, like, you're under surveillance, all your devices are hacked. If you go and type that new password in, they're going to see that new password. So you have to be aware of that. If you got to change your modem, you're going to have to either get a new computer or you're going to have to wipe out the one you have completely. And then you got to think, well, if I connect back to this modem, do they got a virus in there that's going to jump on my computer as soon as I connect?
I hear you.
So I don't have a ton of experience with the modem issue. I just know that that's what they're doing. I've seen them do it to other people. And also, I say not everybody at the cable company or whatever is going to be corrupt.
Right.
I mean, so you try to reach out to them. So with me with the SIM card, so the SIM cards, I want to get into the SIM card on the phone. This is how I did it, and this is how I got broke out. So this SIM card, it's called a SIM card jack. And you're going to go and look that up online, and you're going to see all kinds of other stuff like SIM swapping. That's not what I'm talking about. It's called a SIM card jack, and all they need is your phone number. All they need is that SIM card phone number. They send it a text message or give it a call, and boom, they can take over the SIM card. And then they start redirecting your traffic through them, and planes will start showing up and all that stuff. So they want that one bad. That's whenever I try to get a secure SIM card, they come out the woodworks like crazy. I've had them steal my mail. Like if I ordered a SIM card online, I've had them steal my mail.
Yes.
I can pack the SIM card, stick it back in, and then give it back to me like nothing happened. They really. And then I've seen like one of the times when they got back in, they got it back into my phone. And then when they got in my phone, they could see what my SIM card phone number was from the phone, and then they sent me the SIM jack attack.
Interesting.
And it's really that easy. It's all they have to do is send it a text message, and the text messages usually come through looking like those opt-in, opt-out text messages, or like a promo for a company or something like that. So it looks like maybe somebody sent the wrong text to the wrong number or something, and you don't really think about it.
Right.
But that's not. But then that's how they do it. So to get around that, I use Google Voice, and Google Voice is free. Really, just want a voice over IP number, whatever service you want to use. That's up to you. But I use Google Voice because it's free. And then I'll get a new phone number, and that phone number is attached to the email, not the SIM card. So then I could take out that SIM card and get a new one and not have to use the phone number for anything, the SIM card phone number for anything. I can just log into my Google Voice account, and now I can make calls and text messages and stuff.
Interesting.
And, yeah, it sounds a lot, and that sounds a lot easier than it is. Because, like I said, if you're under surveillance, they can see what you're doing. As soon as you start going down that path, first thing they're probably going to do is block you so you can't get a Google Voice number. So you're going to have to maybe get a $20 Walmart phone or something and just get a track phone SIM card or some kind of prepaid SIM card and just sign up for that and then chuck out the SIM card and then you got the Google Voice number. But they're going to see what you're doing, and they're going to try to stop it because they're going to know you're going to start to break free. And so what I do is, I got Visible, and Visible's unlimited everything as my service provider. So I just SIM card, then I just tether it to my laptop. Now my laptop got a secure connection.
So now,
And
are you in a big city? I know you said you travel around a lot in an RV, but what state is generally your hometown? If
I'm
you
from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Oh, in Pennsylvania, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
targeting's big there too.
Yeah.
And
I
Lancaster's, you've got the Amish there.
yeah, they do have Amish here. You know, the thing I'll tell you this, like with Lancaster, like Lancaster got a state courthouse, so there's a lot of I don't know what you want to call them, like CIA, Homeland Security guys, state intelligence guys coming through here on a regular basis, and you know, I said about MK Ultra earlier, and I know that for me it was state intelligence, and I imagine it was CIA guys with them too. Pretty sure those guys all kind of roll together in the same group, but yeah, the ones that did that to me were state intelligence, and I know where they hang out, and I know what they do.
Why do you think you're targeted? Is it? Do you think it has stems from your family?
Yeah, things stem from my family. I think my family turned me over to them people. I think it could be bloodline reasons too, and I think so. I know, like the MK Ultra Monarch program. The big thing about that, the reason it's named Monarch, I forget the scientist's name, but there's this guy back in probably like the 40s or 50s or something, and he figured out that species have genetic memories, and that there's traits that are passed down genetically. So I think that there's something about my family and maybe the generations in my family that make them more susceptible to MK Ultra programs. That's what I think.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, it has been stated that many of the targeted individuals are creative, creative problem solvers, intellectually gifted, forward thinking, can't be controlled, etc., etc. Would you fit into any of those categories? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have to go back to like genetic memories. I was in gifted programs. I fall into that category. But I think they made me that way. I think they did a lot of things to me when I was a kid that turned me into that, and mixed with, my genetics and the genetic memories of my lineage, it probably just made me like a perfect candidate for them. And I don't know a lot about it. I'm at a point now where I get tired of trying to figure it out.
Sure.
But that's how I understand. That's why it's called monarch, because they found out with the monarch butterflies, they would just have genetic memories passed down to them, like they knew, their animal instincts were just passed down to them. They didn't have to learn them.
And it is fascinating. And we know historically they've been experimenting with genetics, modifying behavior for decades and decades.
Yeah, and I think, I don't want to get into all that.
Right, I know. So, well, let's get back to technology. So, most, I'm going to say my subscribers, have an iPhone or an Android. I'm sure there are some other phones in between there. Yeah, some other phones in between there. and a couple of them have laptops or iPads or whatever. So what can be done that doesn't cost too much money, or for the person who's not that technical? What can we do?
So, first thing I want to say is that Androids and Windows are no good. If you're targeted iPhone, and then I put Linux on my computer. I put Linux on my laptop. I use Linux Mint. It's pretty user friendly. There's not a big learning curve to get it running. And so with having a secure SIM card on my iPhone and my laptop with Linux on it, I'm good. I'm secure. The Androids are no good because they can root them remotely. Once they get in, you'll never get them out again. You gotta just throw the device out. With the iPhone, they're more secure. So if they get in, I can just
Reset it. Interesting. Like the newer iPhones don't have a battery to remove either. Oh, you disappeared. Hello? Hello, I can't hear you right now. Are you traveling around? Hello? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. In case you can hear me, I can't hear you. So I don't know if you're traveling around and hit, a dead spot there. You just disappeared when we were talking about the iPhone. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to see if he calls back, and I'm just going to let this video run in case. Let me call him back. I could always edit this portion out.
Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
It's Lorraine. It's Lorraine. We were disconnected.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back in business. I purposely did not end the recording. I could always edit that little portion out.
So we were talking about Androids and iPhones, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so the iPhone is what you want. Androids are no good. Windows is no good. And then, use Linux.
So,
and again, I know it's a pain.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, once you successfully do what I'm saying and get it, your whole world's going to change. It's going to change. It's going to become, like I said, the targeting ain't going to go away completely, but it's going to be so much more manageable. And it's going to be, compared to what we go through normally, it's going to seem like it did go away.
Really?
It's how much of a difference it makes.
And what about the Mac laptop?
I would get one. I don't have experience with it, but I thought about buying one there for a while, and then I put Linux, and the Linux worked great. So I'm like, there's no need for me to spend $2,000 on a laptop.
Right. So on the Linux,
But I would.
on the Linux operating system, can you use like the documents that you created in Word, or no?
Yeah.
Oh, you can.
Yeah, it's all like Linux is really neat that way. It's like everything works. There's not a whole lot of proprietary stuff on there that you need. There's some things like I was trying to upgrade my Garmin, and I had a hard time doing it on the Linux because they only have a Windows program for that. But yeah, like your old hard drives, like if you plug it in and it's got old Windows stuff on there, you'll still be able to see whatever's on your hard drive and use your stuff.
Okay, interesting. So, in order to replace someone's operating system on their laptop without destroying the other programs that are in there, like how would you go about doing something like that?
You gotta get a USB and download Linux on it. and then you're gonna have to wipe out the computer and reboot it with Linux. Well, there are ways. I think there is a way to dual boot where you can have half Linux. I don't know a lot about that. I don't. I just wait. I've been waving my computers out like a couple times a week for the past 10 years.
Wow.
So like I don't. I have. I got like videos, documentaries, pictures, and stuff on an external hard drive that I got to reset my computer again. I'll back it up on that. But yes.
So now, do you?
Now
I'm sorry. Do you or in the past have you gotten energy attacks?
Yeah. The big thing they were doing to me with that was whenever I would lay down, it'd give me seizures. And it wouldn't be like real bad, but it'd just be like I would just like convulse for a second, or like I'd get like this electrical shock down my body that would just make me like jolt.
Vibrate, yes.
That was a big, yeah, or like a tick, like my leg would kick or something. But they were doing that. They would do that to me every night, like multiple times a night when I was trying to sleep or shake there. They would do that. Another thing they do all the time is wake me up out of my sleep. I'll be in the dead middle of sleep, and all of a sudden, I just pop right out, wide awake. Like I just drank a cup of coffee or something. And
wow.
I noticed with that energy weapons, I'm sure they got people on the ground that have devices that can do that, but a lot of that with me was going on from the plane, because it would be like every time I would get these attacks, there'd be a plane flying overhead.
Yes. What a coincidence, right?
Yeah. So that's why, like for me, when I got out, when I got my computer secure, and the plane couldn't find me anymore, and then those kind of attacks kind of just stopped.
So because you travel around a lot, you probably don't get any break-ins, like people messing with your technology and your food from inside of your RV.
When my computer's hacked, I do.
Oh, you
Because
do?
these people, they're everywhere. It's not just in Lancaster. And they know if I'm in the next town. I mean, they were poisoning my food. When I get food now, I buy like one-use meals, or if I do go out to eat, it's at like a buffet style place or a place they got the food out. I can pick what I want. Yeah. No, they were breaking in. And I want to say this too is like, so they're not just getting your live data. Like if they jack your SIM, they can get your location, live time. They can get, see all your outgoing traffic. So if you're making plans, they know you're going to be, text somebody, you're going to be at this restaurant at 5 o'clock.
Right.
So when you get secure, they're still going to have that computer program they got still has a bunch of data on you. Knows where you were, what route you take to the grocery store, what grocery store you go to, like that kind of stuff. So when you get your computer secure, you're going to notice that they're going to start going off the old data. So when you do get your computer secure, just be aware of what you say, and maybe change up where you go, what days you go to the grocery store, stuff like that. Change it up a little bit.
Sounds good, yeah.
But, and this is just, I'm just giving you an example of that. If depending on how long they've been in your computers and watching you, I mean, they've got a pile of data on all different things. So, it's
let me ask you a question. Why is our data so important to these criminals? Because, I mean, let's face it. I mean, I'm in my 60s at this point. Do you have any idea how many links I probably clicked on in my lifetime between performing research for undergraduate school, graduate school, all of my certifications, looking up schools for my daughter, looking up targeted information. Could you imagine all the stuff I've clicked on and even inadvertently clicked on stuff? So, why is this so important to these criminals? Why?
That power and control, I mean, that is probably worth more than money. And if you're getting it at the level that they're getting it, and you got access the way that they got access, I mean, you got a lot of power. But really, this is how they're going to enslave people.
Enslave people.
This is how they're going to overthrow, the U.S. government, and this is worldwide. So I imagine other countries.
Yes.
This is my, it's a group of Satanists, a worldwide network, nationwide network, right? They're involved in pedophilia. In America, there's millions of them. There's a couple million of these people.
Yes.
It's a whole network, right? So the computers is one thing, the cameras they're putting up on the street corners, the microphones they're putting up right next to them, all of that is all to protect the cult and their activities. It's nothing to do with stopping terrorism. It has nothing to do with keeping the community safe. It's all to protect their activities, to cover up their crimes,
yes.
to go after people that would be potential threats to them.
Yes.
That's what it is. Our government is infiltrated with these people. In Lancaster, like I said, the people that were after me, that tried to do MK Ultra me and all that shit, it's all state intelligence, state judges, and that whole ilk. These people are not Americans. They're not your friends. They don't give a shit about you. They look at you like a cow, like you're less than human. You have no rights. They just tell you that so you keep pumping out widgets in the factory, and they can go and diddle your kids when you ain't looking. Go
Right.
watch them on your laptop, get changed and shit like that. That's what's really going on.
I hear you. I mean, it's literally a nightmare, and this has been there. They have been slowly eroding away at the United States, like before Bush, and I mean, he warned us. All of these people kind of warn us behind the scenes that America, the United States, the corporation, whatever, they have sold us out, and we are turning into, can I say it on YouTube, a communist country.
Yeah.
Total police state. It's communism. I don't care. I mean, that's the way I see it. If I were younger, I would leave the United States. If I were younger, I would move out of the good old USA. Because I see horrible stuff coming.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm on the same page. But I can't, I thought about leaving the USA, but it's not going to be bad. It's going to be worse. I went to Colombia a couple years ago, and they followed me there, and as soon as I touched down on the plane, I had people
yes,
just bumping into me and doing all that kind of stuff, and
yes. Well, it is worldwide, but I have a couple of subscribers that have moved to other countries where there's a language barrier, and they claim that even though they'll get the directed energy weapons and stuff from satellites and drones and stuff, they don't get the gang stalking anymore because it must have to do with the language barrier. Like the locals don't speak the same language, so there's no way, and they're communicating differently. So they're not getting the gang stalking anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason I wanted to do this interview with you is to give everybody out there a solution. And this will work.
Yes. Do you have any ideas? There are a lot of people that live in apartments, and they're surrounded. Somebody upstairs, on either side of them, downstairs.
I've been there.
Yeah, so they're using probably the same internet provider. And do you have any advice for them to?
I won't worry so much about the internet providers. I worry about securing your devices. And And I do know that, so I know the planes, they got tech that can see through the walls. I imagine if your neighbors, you're in an apartment building, your neighbors, one of them, they can see through your walls too. I know if you go to Home Depot or something like that, they got this bubble wrap insulation. It's made of bubble wrap, but it's got this silver coating on it
Yes.
to deflect UV rays. Put that up, and that will block that.
I actually have it around my modem, and it does make a huge difference. Like I've tested it without the bubble around it and with the bubble around it, and the signal is significantly lower, like the radiation. Yeah.
When I first moved into an RV, I put that. I did it by accident. Like I was putting that stuff up over all the windows to kind of insulate it from the cold weather. Well, they kind of went to a fit over that, and they were I had like all these random people asking me about like what's on my windows and what am I doing and all this stuff. Well, here it was blocking out whatever devices they were trying to use. I imagine to see through my wall. And I also want to say I got a couple of EMF protectors. I got a Q-Link, and I got a site called eWaters.com. They sell these things called e-pendants.
Oh yes,
and
yes.
I'm on my like 7 or 8 one now because they keep stealing them from me. And I don't know. I can't see if it works or not, but I can see them actively trying to steal these from me. So I imagine they're working.
Exactly. They steal what works. They've stolen a bracelet actually off of my wrist that my mother bought me, an EMF protecting wrist bracelet, and they knocked me out. Came into my house, stole it off my wrist. I never saw it again. And they have stolen, the less EMF skull caps. They have stolen 2 from here in Kentucky. I had 1 in New Jersey, 2 here in Kentucky. They're all gone. So they must work. Why would they be stealing them if they didn't work?
I had a Q-Link bracelet, and I wore it to work. I wore it to work for weeks. Nobody said nothing. One day my boss came up to me and he said, "Can't wear that anymore. Take it off." I said, "All right." So I took it off and put it in my back pocket. Somebody picked it out of my back pocket.
Yes. Yep. I believe it. I believe it. They know what works. I mean, these are technology experts. They're trained in surveillance.
They know how all this works. And we're stuck trying to figure it out.
Yes. Do you have any do you think that this is going to end anytime soon, or do you think it will worsen?
I don't know. I think we're in a battle of good and evil right now. I don't think they have complete control like they want to pretend they do. I think there's still a chance, but it's not looking good. All these cell phone towers and satellites and computers. This is how we're going to set up a military control grid, and once it gets across the whole world, I mean, I sit and think sometimes about how I got out of this computer system, and if I was microchipped, I'd be doomed. There'd be no way.
And that's the problem, and people have stated that there's no reason for them to chip anyone other than to torture the person, because they don't need to chip anybody anymore.
Yeah.
So
control. More control would be more control.
Well, the interesting thing is, a targeted friend of mine, his name is Jesse Mendoza. He's in Texas, and he went to law school, and he's filed lawsuits and stuff. And his research is online, wirelesswatchblog.org. And the research that he discovered was that the police, the ones that are involved in harassing us or turning a blind eye, they're getting some of what we get also. They just don't realize it. Every time they shoot a stun gun, every time they're in their vehicle with their laptops, with their antennas and stuff, they're coming down with testicular cancer.
Yeah. These EMF things are good for you.
No, they're not good for anybody. So the fact that they're using all of this technology, the police against us, they don't realize that they're getting it too.
Yeah, I do maintenance as a profession, like industrial maintenance, heavy industrial stuff. And,
Yes.
I've been around power lines already where there will be a gate around the power line, maybe 200 feet away, and that metal gate is energized off the magnetic field coming off those power lines.
Wow. I believe that. And that's 200 feet?
Yeah.
That's alarming. That's alarming. Yeah. These cell towers are dangerous. I mean, I've seen some videos like on TikTok where in China, some of the citizens there are taking them down.
Yeah, I pray that Americans smarten up and catch up to what's going on and start tearing these cameras down and shit, because it ain't what you think. They ain't there to protect you.
Yeah. Well, it's a total police state, and everybody has these Ring cameras, and then from what I researched is that Ring had a deal with Amazon and the police departments around the country until people started finding out that police had access to their personal Ring cameras, and then there were lawsuits and stuff. And then there's this flock surveillance. And now I just heard this morning, I don't know if you know Rob Broxman, who has a YouTube channel, Technology.
Yeah, I watched him a lot. He was a big help in me actually put all this together, what I'm telling you guys today.
Well, his video just this morning, or it was from last night, is about the Focus police surveillance technology. He said it costs them about $10,000 per police department, and there he showed pictures of what they see about the neighborhoods, your location, and everything.
Yeah, completely mapped out.
That's it. It's completely mapped out. Exactly.
Inside of your house too and everything. Hey, the other thing I want to say when you get your devices secure, it's something to be aware of. It's something I don't worry about too much. And it's like I said, once the computer can't find you, they're gonna have to send people to go looking for you.
Oh, well, and they do.
I imagine it's called a stingray device. I've spotted it a couple times. These guys following me, and it's what I seen were these laptops that they had, but they look like the old big blocky brick laptops from like the 90s, and they can trick your phone into connecting to their laptop by making it look like it's a cell phone tower, and then they'll be able to see your traffic.
Well,
so
that's interesting. That's interesting. You know why? Because when I lived in Manalapan, New Jersey, there were people that moved in directly across the street from me, big family. And there was one day, I guess one of his friends came to visit. I think that they're agents. But they walked out together with a big laptop just like that and working on the laptop as they're walking towards their vehicle, like opposite my house. I thought it was so bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had them like follow me at the library when I was trying to secure my computers. Yeah, be careful of being on public Wi-Fi too. You're gonna have to get crafty about how you secure your stuff, because once you secure it, like I said, they're gonna see what you're doing. They're gonna know what you're doing. They're gonna come after you. And if any step along the way, they're gonna tell you, you have a clean device. Whether you get a new one or wipe it out, you gotta get a clean SIM card. Don't open any more emails. Don't click any more links. When you get that SIM card is just going to be your internet connection. You want it for nothing else. You're going to have to, if you mess up at any point along the way, you're going to have to start over once they get in, especially if they get that SIM card jack. So you gotta be smart, be crafty, maybe go use a public Wi-Fi in the middle of the night to go and do something, things like that. But beware using public Wi-Fi.
So beware of using public Wi-Fi. Like there are a lot of people that use them at the library or Starbucks or whatever. So yeah, that makes sense.
You want to do everything you can to protect anybody from seeing what you're doing. Man, it's so much tougher than it sounds, especially when you're targeted.
Yeah. Yes, and the thing is, when you say prevent them from seeing what you're doing, it's sort of like trying to sell my property. I'm convinced that they have blocked people from contacting me, intercepted my calls. They've intercepted other phone calls. Just my calling local people here, the calls have been intercepted. Calling my landscaper, the call's intercepted. It's absolutely absurd.
Yep. That works.
Total control freaks.
Yeah. You have no idea. Well, you gotta see what these people do behind closed doors.
Well, I know what they do behind closed doors. These are perverts. They're total sadistic, psychopathic, malignant narcissist perverts.
Yeah.
They're sick.
Feed off that. It's like they feed off that.
They feed off of
Great.
it. Yes. I call them inhuman. They are not like us. They don't have the qualities, the traits that would make them to be a bona fide human with empathy, compassion, love, caring, understanding. All of those traits that make you comprise a human.
Yeah.
They don't have that.
No, they're abominations in my eye, and it's funny because in their group and their little religion and stuff, they say that the public are the subhuman ones, and that we're the cows. I've actually heard these people call it the hospital wildlife management and things like that. I've had judges and lawyers call me a cow, but try to do it in code words that I want to catch what they're saying. But I'm like, they're calling me a cow, and I shouldn't have any rights and things like that. So, yeah. And they believe that 110%.
They do.
They really got it stuck in that they're. Like,
yeah, they do. They look at us as things, as tools, TOOLS, tools to use. To use to their advantage. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, we're coming on an hour here. Do you have any words of wisdom for the subscribers, the people listening? Even, I do have people that I think 2% of my subscribers are not targeted, or at least don't know that they are. So, do you have any words of wisdom for the people out there about their securing their devices?
I'll wrap this up. Well, one thing I did want to say is that, look, I was targeted before I knew I was MK Ultra, and then after a couple years of being overly targeted, I started having flashbacks, and I started putting it all together. And I think that there's probably a large majority of targeted individuals that are MK Ultra. They just don't know it yet because they don't have the recollection. Because I know that what I think they're doing with a lot of that is they have to keep traumatizing us to kind of keep the programming intact. As far as the computers go, look, I'm on YouTube. It's Regulus, Starseed, or if you put Regulus, how to secure a phone, I'll come up. I'm on Telegram. It's at Regulus144. If you're a targeted individual, I'll help you with this stuff. Just really respect my time. I can't do everything for you, and I can't hold your hand every step of the way. But if you got questions, I'm there to help. I got 2 videos on my channel that explain how to secure your phones. If I were somebody in a home, I probably wouldn't even have a cell phone. I probably have one of them old style phones that have a button on the receiver that when you hang it up, it disconnects the line. I won't have any kind of electronic phone or nothing like that. I'd have a landline. I'd have it in a separate room with the computer. And, yeah, if you're going to use cell phones and laptops and wireless, hey, do what I do and tether your laptop off. I don't need to have Alexa listening to me and calling the cops because I got to argue with my girlfriend or all that stuff. I don't need smart TVs and all that. I don't even really need the internet much except for do some business things, do some research. That's my advice. Hopefully somebody out there can build off what I'm saying and stand on my shoulders and put it together better than I, make it easier than I did. But this is what I have to offer, and it works.
Well, I'm so glad it's working for you, and I appreciate your volunteering to, reach out to subscribers to help them secure their devices and share your experience about being an MK Ultra victim via your family. That's invaluable. It's really important. People need to understand that this is a thing and happens.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more common than people think too.
Yes, they're doing it to me. They started doing it to me in New Jersey. Trauma-based mind control, MK Ultra. They'd even throw monarch butterfly wings all over my backyard. Very sick.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I just said. Like, I think a lot of targeted individuals are MK Ultra and don't know it yet. And when you say that, it makes me suspicious.
Yeah, well,
because I'd never figured it out if it wasn't for the flashbacks, really. And then I started putting all the events in my life together, and I'm like, listening to other people and reading these books, and I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what they did to me.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. And, perhaps, if people are interested, maybe we'll have a part 2 in the future.
Sure.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Regulus.
Right.
I so appreciate your taking the time to talk to us today. And I hope you have a great day. As good as possible, right?
Yeah, right.
All right.
Make the best of it. Like, look, with all the data and the way this whole thing is designed, they want to cause maximum stress on you. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, I know it's a lot easier said than done, but you're the one that's in control of your thoughts.
That's true.
Don't give them that win.
Absolutely.
Don't give them what they want.
You're right.
All right, I'll let you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay.
All
bye.
Right, bye.
Okay, so we wrap that up for today, and thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Please leave your questions and comments down below. His YouTube channel is Regulus Starseed, and he's got a Telegram, which is at Regulus 144. I hope everybody has as good a day as possible, and I will talk to you guys soon.